Welcome to F101 with Friends, your pit stop for all things Formula One. Whether you're here for the stats, the memes, or just figuring out what a chicane is, we've got you covered. Buckle up, because the fun starts right now. Hi everyone, my name is Nisha, a newbie F1 girlie who is desperate to make more friends so that I can talk about this sport all the time. Each week, a new guest will join me on this journey, from seasoned F1 fans to other curious newcomers, and we will explore what it is about this million-dollar sport at gravity-defying speeds that we just can't stop watching. We'll try to break it all down in a way that's fun, relatable, and hopefully try to explain some of the tech talk. This week, we are heading somewhere muy especial, the Mexican Grand Prix at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. The home crowd, the mariachi horns, the sombreros in the grandstands. It is one of the loudest, proudest, most passionate weekends on the entire F1 calendar. And you already know who's joining me for this one. He's back, he's excited, and he's probably already tearing up just thinking about Checo Perez on home soil. It's Kevin, everyone. Welcome back to the show, Kevin.
Hey Nish, thank you so much for having me. I am super excited to be back, and you picked the perfect Grand Prix for me to be back at. Like you mentioned, as much as racing is very important, I just hope that I see Checo there. I'm sure that they're going to make a show out of him, at this Mexican Grand Prix. I think it's going to be the launch for the brand, right? I think they're going to have some boots on the ground for the Mexican Grand Prix, hopefully. So I'm really excited to see him, at his new team, and I'm really excited to see what it is that Cadillac's bringing to the table, because I feel like given all the kind of stuff that they are putting out, it looks like it's going to be a really good competition, next year. Like, I genuinely don't think that they're going to be like, at the bottom, like a brand new team crawling their way up. They're going to be somewhere right in the middle fighting, their way up. So it's going to be fun.
But before we go into the Mexican Grand Prix, I just wanted to know your thoughts, your highlights and lowlights for the US GP that just got done.
Oh, right. So the US GP, I feel like the one thing that everybody was talking about, and this is something that I feel like we have to talk about again, was the sprint race. Like, it has been a while since I've seen a sprint race that was that good. Like, you've had action from the get-go. Like, I think that Formula One racing has gotten to a point where safety has become so interwoven into it that you don't see a lot of turn one incidences, because obviously there is a lot of, I want to say, structures in place, and the financial implications of getting into a crash in turn one is also so significant that teams are playing it very safe. The drivers are playing it very safe. Now it's all about the strategy. It's not about pushing it right out of the gates and get ahead of everybody. But this time at the US Grand Prix, that was where I was at. Like, if you ask me, if you put the whole racing weekend ahead of me, that's the practice, the qualifying sprints and everything. I'm like, Kevin, if you had to pick one, what it would be the sprint race. Like, that's where it's at. Like, I fell asleep at bits and pieces during the main race, because it was literally like they were on rails, right? Yeah, it was just like, like, where it's going.
But also, I think specifically for Austin, this lap one stuff happens more often than the others, because lap one, turn one is super wide in Austin. Yeah. So there's a chance for you, or even if you're starting in P3, there's a chance for you to think, you know what? I think I can win this race, because I will find a gap in between, which is what makes like sprints and the race itself, at least the beginning, very exciting in places like Austin.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit is due. Also, I think one of the major concerns that people had during the previous race that we had, that is the race before the US Grand Prix, was the direction and the camera work during the race. Because like you'd have people like overtaking and they just like in a situation where the overtaking would happen, they'd immediately just cut to somebody's like partner,
Yeah.
and you'll be like, okay, so we know you guys are dating, but can you show us what's going on track? Like during the US Grand Prix, they really did a good job because they
Oh
were
my
showing
God.
us the back markers. They were showing us, people on the mini screen on the sides. And at one point,
Yes.
I think they were showing us two drivers
two.
simultaneously. I was just like, at that point, I was like, I feel like there's a little
This
too
is
much
overkill.
information. Yeah. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this
because
now?
So we were watching the battle in front, so Leclerc and Norris for
Yeah.
P2 because Max just zoomed off into the distance.
Absolutely.
We were watching Charles versus Lando, and then on the side suddenly they were like, oh, by the way, Alonso is doing something cool like somewhere below.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then suddenly Kimi Antonelli is also. I was like, okay, guys.
I think,
Relax.
if I'm not mistaken, they only cut back once to the garage, and it was to show Ollie Behrman's dad having a reaction.
Yes, in the cowboy hat. Oh
Yeah.
my God, he was so cute.
And I think the minute that happened, they were like, oh no, we changed our formula, and they didn't do it after that. And you can actually see the public opinion was actually really nice. Like people are actually responding to it
Yes.
very well. So obviously they are paying attention to what people have to say, I guess,
Good.
So that's
The
a good
only
thing.
reason they showed Ollie Behrman's dad is because of that crash with Carlos Sainz.
Yes.
And
yes.
and they showed his like concerned dad face where
Yeah.
but like Ollie managed to survive that crash.
Absolutely.
Carlos was the one who was like, okay, I'm done for the day.
That was
But
beautiful.
yeah, that was. But otherwise, the race was no. The sprint was exciting
Yes.
until Oscar crashed, and along with my hopes and dreams for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the race, I think the most exciting part was Charles versus Lando. It was such
beautiful.
a beautiful fight. Oh my God. It was
Absolute racing. Like that was pure racing.
Yes.
Like there were bits. Like the thing is, we've come to such a point right now where when one car, obviously the faster car, overtakes the other one.
Yeah.
It's done. That's it. Right. Like
Correct.
that's where the
Yeah.
fight ends.
Yeah.
There were bits where they were like, he overtakes him and then suddenly he kind of like, takes it back. Overtakes him, he comes through the inside, he's trying to like, slow down. And the beautiful camera work, they show us the aerial view of them kind of just like switching in between. And they had these like Tron style like trail graphics running out of the back to show like, the direct. I was just like, somebody is really cooking in the graphics suite. Oh God, you gotta love it.
And honestly, like Charles, the thing is, when Charles is not driving emotional, I think he's a better defensive driver and a better overtaker than Max Verstappen. I genuinely
Absolutely.
feel that way.
Absolutely.
Because Max has a move or I'll make you move mentality.
Yeah.
Charles just finds that beautiful rhythm and that space to thread through and, overtake someone. When he is thinking and like driving, like using his intuition to drive, the moment he gets emotional, any emotion at all, he's lost it. He's just in the bin.
But those were your highlights. What about your lowlights? What would you say were your lowlights?
Oh, I have one more highlight.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yuki Tsunoda had made so many points. So many points. I was so happy. And I know we were discussing this before we started recording the podcast, but that is definitely a testament to Laurent Mekies coming in as the team principal.
Absolutely.
And making changes, giving Yuki a car that he can actually drive. And
For
now
sure.
look at Red Bull. Like they're making points.
Yeah, I remember when Meki had initially started his time at Red Bull. There was a lot of speculation going around that they were purposely nerfing Yuki.
Yes.
And being on the outside of the sport, you'd look and you'd be like, why would a team, like what logical sense would it make for a team to do that to somebody? And now you see the way that Yuki's performing and you were like, they were actually, they did that boy bad. They did that boy bad. It was like you said, like we were discussing before we started this podcast, it was it was a threat almost to be promoted up to Red Bull.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to look a lot more like a privilege, you know. So I'm glad that we're back to that stage right now.
Yeah. Honestly, the nerfing did not start with Yuki. It's been like going since Checo, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, it's sad that Red Bull took a decent driver, and I love Yuki, but Checo Perez is a much better driver than Yuki.
Absolutely. Let's
And
just say that again one more time. I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you. Yeah, so you're saying?
but Red Bull completely destroyed his confidence and
Absolutely.
his like ability to drive a decent car just so that they could help Max. And okay, great. I understand that you need to favor your star performer, but that cannot be at the cost of the rest of the team.
Yeah,
But,
and I feel like
those things are changing.
yeah, like a very good example of favoring. Again, I'm using that word very liberally here. Is what
Yeah.
Mercedes used to do with Lewis Hamilton.
Correct.
Right. It goes without saying that Lewis Hamilton was their star child with good reason.
Yep.
At no point ever did it feel like Valtteri Bottas was,
Correct.
given a short end of a stick at any point of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he always had, I mean, maybe not the most equal opportunities or whatever it is, but it was because he was given all the tools that were at their disposal that he was able to be a solid second driver and play the defensive role to the best of his abilities and contribute towards the Constructors' Championship points also.
Yeah.
I feel like towards the end of Christian Horner's time at Red Bull, you could see that sort of franticness that somebody has, when they realize they're getting closer to being caught, because a lot of the decisions started finding its way towards the racetrack. But as much as I'm glad that Red Bull has started a new they've basically turned a new leaf in terms of their management. I'm very excited to see where this will go, but it's with whatever we're seeing right now being an indicator, I genuinely feel like the 26th season is going to be fun. It's going to be proper fun.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure, and I'm very, very excited to see that happen because yes, 22 cars, everything is changing. Everyone starts at at the same plane. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But let's not get ahead of ourselves because this week we have a race coming up. Let's set the scene. The Mexican Grand Prix takes place in Mexico City at over 2,200 meters above sea level. It is the highest track on the F1 calendar, and similar to the Miami GP, this track is also set around a stadium. The Mexican GP first joined the F1 calendar in 1963, disappeared afterwards in 1970 due to a lot of safety issues, returned in the late 80s, and then vanished again in 1992. It finally came back in 2015 after a massive renovation, and it's been a highlight ever since. Drivers will do around 70 laps of this 4.304 kilometer circuit, which has 17 corners and 3 DRS zones. The current lap record is a 1:18.741 held by Valtteri Bottas in 2018.
One of the iconic portions of this track is the Foro Sol that used to host baseball games before being transformed into this iconic amphitheater-style arena. And because it's enclosed, the sound echoes like crazy. The engines literally scream off the walls.
Yep.
Fun fact, the podium is actually inside the stadium, which means the winning drivers walk out to a sea of thousands of screaming fans, waving flags, hats, and beer cups.
Yes, we saw this last year with Carlos Sainz, like when they had like a Spanish driver win in Mexico.
Oh, the best.
It was, goosebumps. And because of the altitude, the air resistance is way lower, so cars can hit insane top speeds on the straights. There's also way less downforce, and a lot of drivers have said it feels like it's being on ice. The car just doesn't want to stick to the road. This also means that for some teams that don't have a great aero package or have issues with the tires, this is a great track to try and steal a win. Yes, I am looking directly at you, George Russell. I know this is for you.
Sneaky George is back at it again. Sneaky George.
I know, right?
And on the topic of names, the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez literally translates to the Rodriguez Brothers Circuit. It's named after two Mexican racing legends, Ricardo and Pedro Rodriguez. And we'll talk about their story soon. This race is also contracted till 2028 thanks to the sponsors that Checo bought.
Yes, the big draw for the crowds, well, it used to be, is Sergio Checo Perez. They go absolutely feral for him. Wherever he goes, there's bound to be a sea of people delaying everyone just to see him. When drivers attack him on track, the drivers need to be worried about exiting the track and the city safely. Seriously, this is like Indians with Sachin Tendulkar or Taylor Swift fans, right? They worship their idol and they cannot hear a word against them. And yes, while he may not be racing this year, I'm pretty sure he's going to be on the track because he is going to be with Cadillac next year.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I love about this track is just like Austin, where drivers, teams, and fans get into the cowboy spirit. They bring out all the sombreros and traditional costumes at this track. I remember last year there was this couple that was like fully dressed in the Day of the Dead outfits, like honestly couple goals. They
were so beautiful. Oh my god. It was the best.
You gotta love it.
Also, if you pay close attention to the opening theme song, they usually do a Mexican version of the F1 track. It's very, very fun. It's all mariachi and... Okay, I shouldn't try and sing it. I'm just going to try and put the song here.
I know, but we run into copyright issues if we do. So I would prefer that you sing it. Let's go. Let's sing. Oh my god, did the race start already? Am I at the track? I feel like we should also start a petition to have to have Formula One have a themified, localized version of the song for every track that they're at. And the reason why I say this is I genuinely love the Mexican one. Have you heard the Arab one that they do at, I think it was Saudi?
Really? No,
There's a Saudi version of it. Oh, like, your traditional Saudi, your Arab Saudi music, right? Where, it's like very wavy kind of a thing, and they have the traditional drum instruments and all that. If I'm not mistaken, it was performed at one of the turns. You could see the whole band at the thing, and it was beautiful. Yeah.
Fun. I'm going to look this up.
You absolutely should. And petition to have them, start doing that for all of the tracks.
Yes.
Because can you just imagine what it would be for Monaco, though? I mean, I'm sure every...
Just fancy piano instruments and jazz, jazz.
That's true. Every city that we're at that has a race obviously has their own, traditional music that they would kind of associate with it. But I feel like in the spirit of fairness, right, when we have two races in Saudi, they've got to have different versions for each of them. Okay? You get it? That is really when you're putting your money. One would be the traditional version and one should be a hip-hop version. Right?
We have 4 races in the Middle East.
Yeah, bring in DJ Khaled. Another one. Right?
Is that racist? Sure.
Yeah, but we the best, so it's fine. It's okay.
We the best.
Yeah, but
oh man, yes. Heading back to Mexico.
Yes, heading back to Mexico. I think this would be a great time to talk about the track. If we were to visualize the track, let's figure out how we do that. So in the spirit of this, I don't know if this counts as being racist, but I was thinking about Speedy Gonzalez, right?
Of course you were.
Was Speedy Gonzalez the one that goes meep meep? Or I'm thinking of the Road Runner.
No, that's the Road Runner.
He goes, arriba, Andre.
Yes!
So I am being racist. It looks like a bandana being worn by somebody facing to the right. Picture it. The main straight angle is like the top edge of the bandana, right under your eye. Turns 1 to 3 are where your mouth would be. Then the circuit flows downwards to that little triangular chin bit. Then it loops back around to turn 12 before tying itself neatly into a bow at the back of your head with turns 13 to 17.
It is dramatic, it's stylish, it's Mexico, and now let's take a lap through it. So, Sector 1, we launch from the main straight, which is massive. It's one of the longest in F1 at 1.2 kilometers. Cars hit over 350 kilometers per hour here, but the drama comes right at the end. Turn 1 is a sharp 90-degree right-hander that kicks off the SS del Moisés Solana. It's named after Moisés Solana, who was a Mexican racing driver who competed in the 1960s. Apparently, he's even raced barefoot in that place. He was also known for his charisma and local hero status. So this section has a bit of that flair. After that, you swing left through turn 2 and right again at turn 3, forming a quick left-right-left combo that tightens up. This section is where chaos tends to unfold on lap 1. It's narrow and slippery, and if someone locks up, you've basically got a traffic jam at the bandana mouth. It's also where Leclerc took out Perez that one year, and we all collectively thought he would be dead if he got out of the car. This section is all about getting the traction out of turn 3. You nail the exit and you are rewarded with a clean run onto the next straight and the first DRS zone.
Sector 2. This is where the banana flows down to its triangular tip. The rhythm changes completely here. You're dancing through the medium speed corners that test balance and aero grip in the thin mountain air. You start with turn 4, a sweeping right-hander followed by turns 5 and 6. A tight left-right complex where curbs are your best friend if you treat them well. Then comes turn 7 through 11, a beautifully flowing series known as the esses, Mexico's version of Silverstone's Maggots and Beckett's. Drivers absolutely love this bit. It's fast, it's technical, and it's where you can really feel how light the cars are in the thin air.
Sector 3, now we loop back up the bandana to the bow, the most iconic part of the track. You enter turn 12 at full speed, crossing the second DRS zone, diving into the Foro Sol stadium. This enclosed section of the track is unlike anything else in Formula 1. The fans are right there, waving flags, singing, and sometimes even drowning out the sounds of the engine. Turns 13, 14, and 15 snake through the stadium itself. It's very slow, it's tight, and it's tricky. This is where the cars almost crawl through at under 100 kilometers per hour, and yet it feels monumental because of that crowd energy. Then you swing through turn 16 and turn 17, which together form the famous Peraltada section, one of the most legendary turns in all of F1 history. So Peraltada means banked or steeped in Spanish. It is a long 180-degree right-hander with a slight banking that sends cars slingshotting into the main straight. It's similar to Parabolica in Monza. In the old days, this was a flat-out monster. No runoff, no escape, just pure commitment. Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell, and Alain Prost have all had very famous battles here, with Mansell's 1990 overtake on Berger just outside of the Peraltada being one of the gutsiest moves ever caught on camera. In fact, as of 2015, that last corner has been renamed to the Nigel Mansell corner. It has been modified in modern times for safety, but even today, that is where the lap ends with this big exhale, because right after that, you're onto the main straight and the final DRS zone. So, Kevin, podium predictions for the Mexican GP.
I mean, I don't know the drivers that are going to end up on the podium, but I know one thing for sure is our friend of the podcast, Mohammed bin Sulaim, is going to find his way on there.
Oh my God.
Yes, who made a magical appearance after all this time at the Austin GP.
Yes.
We were like, how did you come here? Who gave you a visa?
It's
right?
because... It's because his main contender for the FIA elections just had to step down. He's going to be unanimously voted as the new president. That's what's going to happen.
Remind me again how a
That's why he was there
democracy
in
works. It's just the best. And he was out there shooting the breeze with the drivers and all that. You could see them they're just having emotions and
Yes.
you gotta love it.
Did you see Max's face? Max is literally yuck. I'd rather just go back in the car and do 3 more laps.
Oh God. And obviously he was trying to talk to the other drivers and everyone was just breezing by him. And I feel
because they don't want to talk to him.
Yeah. I feel like there is a most sneakier conspiracy theory that's there, which is that drivers don't want to end up on the podium because they have to talk to him. So they just Like if you
no, it's okay, you go.
no. I mean, like if you notice towards the last one, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm in turn. I mean, like I'm going to end up in third place. Oh no, no! Oh, suddenly my hydraulics not working, guys. It's just, but I mean, coming back to the race, like if for the spirit of competition, I want to see Max on number one, right?
Okay.
Like, I mean, that's a given. So this is one of those podiums that doesn't have a first place because it's like reserved. So you got Max on like
Okay.
number one, and I would really like to see a Ferrari on the podium.
Yeah.
This is not for me. This is a shout out to my friend Ashwati. I mean, a friend of the podcast, Ashwati, because I feel like she needs this right now. But
she needs this right
yeah, she needs this right now. Like when they put that like the unicorn character on the helmet, right? And you're like, oh my god, like that's because the kid needed that. Now I feel like so I feel like Ferrari needs their own kind of a thing, but like I want to see a Ferrari on the podcast though, because I genuinely feel like
on the podcast.
yeah, I mean I wouldn't mind on the podcast, but I would also love to see them on the podium. And I think we can round it up with a sneaky George Russell somewhere in there, either on a P2 or a P3, depending on what it is. So P1, Max Verstappen. P2 would either be your sneaky George or a Ferrari, and it's in between the two of them.
Okay.
What about you?
So wait, what happened to the McLarens?
They basically like exploded. Okay, so essentially what happens is, I'm going to paint a picture for you. This is so essentially, as you turn into turn one, Lando Norris suddenly realizes that ye sab moh maya hai, and he turns into Oscar Piastri, who simultaneously also realized that ye moh maya, and they crash into each other, and then they go to two different sides of the track, and then they leave the middle area empty for motor racing. So in the most ideal situation, we get away with a virtual safety car. Okay,
I see.
That's what I expect. But I mean, it's a valid question. Like, what about the McLarens? And I feel like they've already got everything that they've deserved. I feel like you got to give somebody else a shot. Like, that's just
Hey, you know what? I'm still out here with hopes and dreams for Oscar Piastri.
Oh, yes.
And I know you said Ferrari, our friend Ashwati, she needs this right now. I just need Oscar to lock the bleep in. Okay?
Absolutely.
Just lock in, brother. You need to win this now. Like,
Absolutely.
I need to see him on the podium. This is insane at this point. How are you allowing Max Verstappen? I understand that he's the greatest of all time, of this generation. How are you allowing this man to slowly take away points? This is insane.
I
Lock
feel like
in,
he's
Oscar.
you know what I think a good kind of like a way to rationalize that would be is like when you look at a family dynamic, right? You've got when a parent starts showing favoritism towards one child, what does the second child start doing? He starts rebelling. There we go, right?
Yep.
So for those of you unaware, neither of us are psychiatrists or psychologists.
We're just people with siblings.
Yeah, just siblings. Okay, shout out to all the siblings. But obviously they're rebelling. And the thing is, Oscar knows everything that he did for the team, and yet to be treated the way that he did. Like, as any self-respecting sibling, he's just like, you think you can do better without me? Okay, here you go. Figure it out yourselves, and I feel like that's exactly what's happening. At this point, papaya rules just means don't kill him. But because like it's going to be hard to find a replacement on such short notice. But I really think that he's going to
and
drag them
they
out.
cut their contract with Alex Pelot also, so they don't have that guy also.
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Like Zach Brown is like. He's like one of those he's like one of those stepdads that come in and he's like, I will love my child but not your child types,
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the exact energy that he brings in.
Yeah, but okay, so so like let's say for example, if you were to give a 1, 2 and 3, what would your 1, 2 and 3 be for the race?
I would like to see, honestly, I would like to see Ferrari win this race. Wow. So the way I see it is Ferrari Max. When I say Ferrari, I mean Charles.
Okay.
Charles, Max, Oscar. That's what I would like to say.
You're not even going to humor the chance of Hamilton, are you? Because I feel like if Hamilton, if you're joining us in this episode, I'm really sorry. Because this is the episode that you're really driving a nail into that coffin that is Hamilton, right? Because just before this itself also, you'd spoken some slander like the greatest of all time and all that, right? When you got I am a Max fan, there's no denying
No,
that.
I changed
that
it. I changed
that
it to
man,
greatest of this generation.
Macha, which generation does he come in then, my friend?
Hamilton is before Max. I would classify Hamilton as before Max, and the reason why is because
He raced with
I
Schumacher,
like to
right?
see, okay, no, he did not race Schumacher. I wouldn't count that as Schumacher racing because
Achha.
prime Schumacher was Ferrari.
Yes,
I would
absolutely.
not count Mercedes Schumacher as his
Valid.
this thing.
Valid.
But the reason why I say that is because I saw this really interesting reel of someone explaining driving styles and in relation to the ground effect cars and the various eras of cars, right? And Hamilton thrived in his era because he was a late breaker.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He would break
very
absolutely. That's why he needed a really solid rear steady car,
Right.
because he's going to brake really really late and he
Absolutely.
doesn't want the back of his car to just be like, I am going there, you go wherever you want.
Right.
As opposed to Max, who's an early breaker,
Oh, right.
and he puts the brake really early and
Right.
then he points that nose exactly where it needs to go
Oh wow.
of the car.
Right.
So, and which is why they used to have so many clashes as well.
Absolutely.
Between Hamilton and Verstappen, because how different their driving styles are.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, which is why Max's cars need to be pointy as hell,
Right.
because he needs that stability in the front.
Oh right.
But
right,
if
right.
you see Max, Charles, and even some of the rookies who have joined, they all drive the same.
Oh wow.
They have that style of driving.
Got it.
Which is why I would not put Max and Hamilton in the same category, because their driving styles and their eras are different.
Very true. I think if you look at the theory of racing itself, the kind of general consensus that's there is take the apex out of the equation, take the racing line out of the equation. But essentially the logic is you brake into the corner, right? You slow down, ride the corner, and then you accelerate on the way out. Which is essentially what a little bit of what Max is doing, a little bit of what Hamilton's doing. They've basically found their kind of the thing that works for them, and they've really run with it. But I mean, I guess next year is going to be the great decider. I am so excited for what next year brings.
Me too. Also, to that point, the next year regs are apparently closer to what Hamilton is used to. He's not used to the ground effect cars.
Absolutely.
But it's closer to the the earlier version of cars. So I'm hoping that something good comes for him next year. So this year is practice year for Hamilton.
Yeah, this year is literally drive to survive. He is surviving.
Yes.
Next year is when we're going to see some action. Yeah, but yeah.
Next year, everyone else will try and survive to drive.
Uh-huh. This is going to be fun. Yeah.
Yes. But the thing is, I know we've spoken a lot about history and a lot of backstory.
Absolutely.
The Mexican GP also has an intense backstory, and it's deep in the soil of Mexico City, right? It's built with both ambition and a heavy dose of emotion. So let's wind the clock back to the 1950s. Mexico was changing. Motorsport wasn't yet a fixture, but two young brothers from Mexico City, Ricardo and Pedro Rodriguez, they were already making a lot of noise. They started on motorcycles, racking up national titles as teens before switching to four wheels. Their father was very influential. In fact, he served as an advisor to President Adolfo López Mateos in the 1950s. And as the story goes, the boys mentioned to their dad that Mexico should have a proper Grand Prix circuit. He pitched the idea, the president liked it, and boom. Concept of a Mexico City circuit in that sports park was born.
Construction began in 1959 and was completed in under a year. That's pretty wild by today's standards. The
Yep.
Rodriguez brothers were not just figureheads, their success and national pride helped raise the profile of motorsport in Mexico. Pedro would go on to become one of F1's greatest wet weather drivers, and Ricardo was seen as a prodigy, both of them racing for top teams. Now, here's where it gets heavy. The circuit opens, and in the early 60s, Ricardo was killed in practice at the 1962 non championship Mexican GP event. He was just 20
Yep.
years old. In the years after, in 1971, Pedro was also tragically killed in a racing accident. In their honor, the circuit was later renamed the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez, Brothers Rodriguez Circuit.
Those first few years from 1963 to 70, it carries a very big weight, right? You got the altitude, the thin air, this Rodriguez brothers legacy just hovering over the place. And it's more than just another F1 stop because it's a national statement. But by 1970, the race fades away from the calendar. Why? Well, it's a mix of safety, financial, and infrastructure issues.
Now we fast forward to 1986 and it's back. The Mexican GP returns in the mid 80s with upgrades, renewed energy, and drivers loving the challenge of that high altitude battle. The old Peraltada Bank corners still loom large in this era. Yet, by 1992, the chapter closes again. The races disappear for more than 2 decades.
And now here comes the behind the scenes twist, and of course, the appearance of our favorite grandpa, Bernie Eccleston. So, in the early 2000s, there were rumors and announcements that the Mexican GP would return. In fact, around 2006, Eccleston publicly said that Mexico was set to be back on the calendar. But it didn't happen then. The economic and political and, yes, the venue upgrade challenges got in the way. So, Mexico's fans just waited. Then the real comeback, 2015. The Mexican Grand Prix rejoins F1 full-time after major circuit updates, safety overhauls, and a reimagining of the venue, which includes that famous stadium section. Since then, it's become a fixture that drivers really look forward to.
So, when you walk into that Mexican City circuit, you're not just seeing asphalt and grandstands, you're walking into a legacy of 2 young men, national pride, loss, ambition. And it's all stitched into the name of that very track. Before them, Mexico wasn't exactly known for F1 heroes. After them, well, you get the fans, you get national hope, you get the eventual return of F1 and my personal hero, Sergio Perez.
Yes. All right, Kevin, let's do a trip through time, right? Mexico style, because this track, it's seen everything because it's had wild first laps, emotional podiums, and an occasional revenge plot as well. So buckle up.
Well, let's start with 1991, a year where things got really scary. During Friday qualifying, Ayrton Senna had a massive shunt at the Peraltada corner. And remember, this was the early 90s. No halo, no roll hoop, and barely any protection. He lost the rear at high speeds and slammed upside down into the barriers at almost 200 kilometers an hour. Miraculously, he was okay. He was just winded and bruised. But that crash became one of those, we really need better safety wake-up calls.
Yeah, you should watch, like, listeners should definitely watch that video because you see that crash and you're thinking to yourself, how is he alive?
Absolutely.
Because the whole car basically turns on his head. It's crazy. But the very next year, Mexico went from terrifying to historic. Michael Schumacher, baby Schumi, 23 years old, second full F1 season, finished third for Benetton. It was his first ever F1 podium. The race was wild. Nigel Mansell won for Williams. Ricardo Petrese was second. And then there was Michael, looking more excited than he ever would. He was just that young guy soaking it all in. Who knew that he would go to win 7 world titles after that?
I did. I knew that he would win. But,
Okay, I'm sure.
but jumping forward to the hybrid era, 2016, Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, and Daniel Ricciardo, all three of them ended up in what we lovingly call the Red Bull sandwich. Here's what happened. Verstappen locked up and cut turn 1, went onto the grass and rejoined ahead of Vettel, who lost his mind on the radio. He has to give me the position. This is ridiculous. Now, Max was squeezing Vettel backwards into Ricciardo, who tried his infamous dive bomb. Suddenly, you have three cars practically side by side into turn 4. In the end, Vettel crossed the line in third, celebrated like he'd won, and he got slapped with a 10-second penalty for moving under braking while battling Daniel. Honestly, it was a bit of a mess because Max didn't get any penalties for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
I think at that time the stewards were just like rolling the dice on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much transparency. So they would just be like, you know what? It's fine. Max is a baby.
Yeah, I'm sure that they had those. Have you seen those like dice that are there for couples where it says kiss her eyelids? So I'm sure that they had one of those. And they just roll it. They're like 5-second penalty for Ocon. And they're like, oh, he's not here yet. But I guess we'll hold on to this. So, yeah.
And the moment Ocon joins, you have a 200-second. What?
They have to take him back into karting at that point. He's got so much penalty stacked up.
Oh, man. Okay, 2017 had a bit of a petty subplot. So I have to give a little bit more context here. So 2015 Russia, Valtteri Bottas and Kimi Raikkonen had this awkward collision. Nothing too wild, but it felt like one of those I owe you one moments, right? Because right after in 2016, Johnny Herbert even cheekily brought it up during the drivers' parade and asking them, so this was the corner made most famous by you guys. Are you two even now? And both the Finns gave the most Finnish response, which was, So when they tangled again in Mexico, everyone was like, is that payback?
Right.
Because F1, the one thing I've realized is a lot of the drivers are like, I will forgive you, but I will not forget.
Oh, absolutely.
It will be remembered, as Max said.
This is exactly why you need to have like Bollywood backing tracks as a part of the F1 broadcast.
Yes.
Because imagine while this was happening, it was just in the background. Gupta. Right.
Yes.
We move into 2021, peak Checo pride, peak chaos. At the start, Valtteri Bottas got tagged by Daniel Ricciardo, spun out, took half of the grid's hopes with them. Max Verstappen launched like a rocket from third, swooped around both Mercs into turn 1 for the lead. Behind him, absolute mayhem. Cars bumping, debris flying, crowd screaming. But the real story was Sergio Perez. He became the first Mexican driver in history to stand on the podium at his home Grand Prix. P3 behind Verstappen and Hamilton. The Foro Sol went feral. Fireworks, flags, tears, mariachi. It felt like Mexico had won the World Cup.
Fast forward to 2023, and it starts like a dream and ends like a nightmare. Checo makes this bold 3-wide move into turn 1. Him, Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen all gunning for the same patch of tarmac. Checo squeezes contact with Leclerc, goes airborne, lands, and that's it. Home hero out on lap 1. The crowd went silent. Charles finished the race on the podium, but you could tell that he felt awful because he got booed by the fans during the interviews to the point where he had to apologize, saying that it was just a racing incident. It's okay. I would also be upset if I were them.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, you can imagine, like, you know, the fear that he must have felt, you know, to have to actually put out an apology, you know, to the fans,
like
because you don't see drivers do that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm guessing there were some cartel threats at that time also, on his life, and they were just like
I know,
yeah,
right?
I think we've got to get him out of here. But I think, can we please move on to 2024,
Yes,
please?
we're moving on because 2024 was quite a weekend. Ferrari came into this one looking quietly confident after a strong qualifying, and by Sunday they were the team to beat. Carlos Sainz started on pole, lost the lead briefly to Max Verstappen, but took it back with patience and control around lap 9. From there, he just managed the pace like a pro, calm, composed, and ice cold under pressure, just channeling his inner Kimi Raikkonen. Charles held his own as well, solidly in the top three, picking up the fastest lap, but a late mistake in the final corner cost him his second place. It didn't matter because the Tifosi were thrilled either way. Ferrari hadn't won in Mexico since 1990, and this one felt like very sweet, especially because it lifted Ferrari above Red Bull in the constructor standings. Carlos Sainz was Spanish, the Mexican fans speak Spanish, and they just felt that kind of camaraderie. Also, everyone should note, Carlos Sainz, with this win in Mexico,
Right.
is still the last winner for Ferrari.
Wow, now that is saying something. Like, it's been a while, but
It has.
and now let's look at what our current winners were doing last year. The McLaren's weekend
Yeah.
was all about opportunity and execution. Lando Norris bided his time, managing his tires beautifully while keeping Leclerc inside. When Charles went wide in the final laps, Lando swooped in for P2, another smart, patient drive that's becoming his trademark. Oscar Piastri, meanwhile, had one of the quieter but more impressive races of the day, climbing from P17 to P8. Between Norris's precision and Piastri's recovery, McLaren walked away as the clear best of the rest.
And then there's Red Bull, the team everyone expected to dominate in Mexico, but instead walked away with a bruised ego. Max Verstappen launched off the line like a rocket, taking the lead early, but two separate 10-second penalties unraveled his race completely. One for forcing Lando off at turn 4, and another for leaving the track and gaining advantage at turn 8. He served them during his pit stop and dropped down the order to finish P6. Not catastrophic, but for Max, definitely not a day to remember.
Absolutely.
And for Sergio Perez, it was just heartbreak. At his home race, after a jump start investigation and a brush with Liam Lawson that damaged his front wing, his afternoon was effectively over before it began. And I think this is the race where Liam showed him the finger, like while they were driving.
Yeah,
And
but
once again, everyone was like, does Liam Lawson not enjoy living? What is he doing?
that man signed a death warrant with that, but
He really did.
Mercedes, meanwhile, played the long game. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell had a drama-free race, finishing P4 and P5 respectively. It wasn't flashy, but it was solid, effective, and exactly the kind of consistency that Mercedes thrives on.
Down the order, Haas were the surprise of the weekend. Kevin Magnussen brought home a brilliant P7 that was the team's best ever result in Mexico. And Nico Hulkenberg also scored points in P9. Alpine picked up the final point with Pierre Gasly in P10, while Ocon's race just never really took off after all the grid penalties dropped him out of contention.
And if you think that they had it bad, Aston Martin had a weekend to forget. Lance Stroll finished just outside the points in P11, and Fernando Alonso's 400th Grand Prix ended early with a brake failure. I feel like at that point he's just like, he's just like, oh, my car's having brake failure. It's kind of like when you have a 10-year anniversary at work and they expect you to work. I mean, like, give me a day off, right? It's like me not showing up to work on my birthday. I'm like, it's a me day. Yes, we will celebrate it, but let me do it peacefully, by myself. But William had flashes of fights with Franco Colapinto finishing P12, but earning a 10-second penalty for causing a collision with Lawson. And for Sauber, it was another tough one. Bottas and Zhou finished 14th and 15th, a lap down, clearly struggling with the grip.
Yep. It was not a great race for them. And they were struggling like throughout. I think they had like 4 points the entire season, right? Last year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Look at them now.
oh, it's genuinely like that one win just catapulted them, into
I
the
know. Yup.
oof.
Yup. Now, when it comes to prepping for Mexico City, teams are facing a totally different beast, right? Because you have the altitude. Because the air is thinner, the amount of downforce a car can generate goes down. In other words, the wings aren't getting enough air to push against, and it is not helping the car to stick to the ground in the corners. Apparently, the downforce drop in this region can be almost 25% less compared to all of the tracks that are at sea level. What that forces teams to do is very interesting. They often run a maximum downforce configuration. Yes, high wings, more aero surface, similar to what you would see at one of those like slow speed street circuits like Monaco. But this is paradoxical because this track has one of the longest straights. So why would you do that? Because the reduced drag in the thin air means you can afford slightly more wing without being penalized as heavily on the straights.
With all that aero juggling and high altitude, tires become a real strategic focus. Although the track surface is relatively smooth, meaning lower abrasion, the lack of grip due to downforce means the tires are more prone to
Yep.
sliding, graining, and overheating in unexpected ways. Teams therefore have to decide, do we need to go for a one stop, which is very common here, or are the conditions going to force two stops? Because if you push too hard early, tires overheat, slide, wear faster,
Yeah.
and suddenly your one stop idea becomes two. Pit stop strategy also has to account for things like safety car. Mexico has had more incidences than some tracks, which can change the math mid race. The long straights, so timing the pit relative to DRS zones and team specific cooling circuit issues.
The weather in Mexico is generally pleasant in October. For ambient air, the temperatures might be around 24 degrees, which is comfortable for the drivers. But because of the altitude, the local climate, the track and the component temperatures act very differently. Thinner air means less convective cooling, so brakes and engines can overheat more easily. Track surface temperature can swing as the sun comes and goes behind clouds, meaning the grip levels will change and shift rapidly. Now, for the jargon part, I thought it would be really fun to talk about Latin America's connection to the sport because from the very beginning, Latin America has punched above its weight in global motorsport. One of the earliest examples, of course, is Ayrton Senna. He was a superstar in the cockpit, connecting people across the country in the hard times that Brazil was facing and giving them hope every Sunday. He also became a commercial magnet and a sort of bridge between F1 and Latin America fans. His partnerships with Brazilian brands, like for example Banco Nacional, it's such an iconic blue cap with that Nacional written on it.
Oh,
Yeah. And a lot of other global sponsors made him a bit of a marketing phenomenon. Of course, it helped that, he had this aura, he was reconnecting to Brazil, and as the kids say, he had that riz. So, using all of that, he was able to connect Latin America with F1 in a major way. Senna helped prove that Latin American drivers bring market research, brand value, and a very, very passionate audience, which in turn means more commercial deals, more sponsors, and more money flowing into the sport.
Now you fast forward a few decades and we see the dynamic on full display with Sergio Perez
Yes.
from Mexico. His presence and popularity have opened doors to major brand partnerships in F1 that are Latin American centric, but also global in scope. He brought in brands like Kit Kat and McDonald's to become official F1 partners, and both of those brands are closely tied to Checo's image or his pocket.
Yeah.
Of course, he is also the reason why Red Bull could be a party team because he brought in Patron Tequila.
Yeah, he did.
The fact that Checo's personal sponsors became F1 regional or global sponsors shows how powerful his commercial pull is. His fan base, national heritage, and brand fit matter. It's not just that who wins on Sunday, but it's who can bring eyeballs on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and who can attract and activate markets.
Yep, absolutely. In fact, Patron is still a sponsor for Formula One. And we saw that
Yeah.
in the Austin GP when they had those
Yeah,
little Patron.
those mini keychain,
Yeah.
those what did they call it?
Mini necklaces.
The alcoholic necklaces. Yeah,
Yes,
and an AA member's worst nightmare
correct.
because they look so cute.
It does look so cute.
Just walk around with that on your neck. You just be like, I feel like at that point you should just like have a sign on your head that says that I have a problem. Like,
Thanks, Checo.
because this whole like it's just like you see these like animals when they have the like feed basket on them in the farms, and that's what it is. You just like imagine how much your life has come to a point where you can't hold a glass in your hand, but you have to bend down, like bend your neck down and be like alcohol.
Honestly, I want one of those.
I mean, I do too. Why do you think I'm like crapping on it?
Oh, this is
I
a
obviously want one.
sour grape situation.
Yeah. Yeah, like if I got one of those, I would use it to have coffee. I mean, like, you see me walking around, like, I'm having my coffee, and the HR will be like, is that a bottle of Patron? I'll be like, do you know what Nescafe tastes like?
Yes, exactly.
So I guess that'd be fine.
But yes, we do have to thank Checo for that sponsorship across.
Oh, absolutely. I remember when he bought in Kit Kat, that was the thing, like bringing in Kit Kat
Correct.
into the sport was mad because at that point he essentially covered all the vices. You've got like fast food, chocolates, alcohol.
That is true.
Yeah. He's essentially the grim reaper for your digestive system. But what more do you want, man?
I love that. But we also have younger Latin American talent like Franco Colapinto from Argentina, who is shifting the business side of things even more. His entry into F1 triggered a massive uptick in ticket sales for the Brazil race because the Argentinians just poured in to support him. He also brought in deals like sponsorship from this e-commerce giant called Mercado Libre to Williams Racing, who then subsequently moved with Franco to Alpine. In fact, in the Austin GP is when we saw that first yellow Mercado Libre ad on the back of that pink and blue Alpine.
And it was absolutely beautiful.
It was,
like
no?
that pop of color.
Great.
Oh, it was so well done. It was so well done.
You should see the ad that they did for it.
Oh yeah, with him, right?
Yeah.
As the delivery driver, right?
Yeah.
I think that came out a lot earlier around the time they announced it.
No, so that was when they announced Franco. That was saying that Mercado Libre is putting in money into Alpine. But they did one ad just before the Austin GP where they basically it's this thing of the marketing person in Mercado Libre talking to Alpine saying that we want that back, that DRS flap, we want the logo there. And the guy goes, no, sorry, there's already Alpine logo there. So then the Mercado people say, we will race you for it. You with your F1 car and us with our fleet. Right?
Deliver.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And obviously the F1 car is about to win and this huge Mercado Libre plane comes through.
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta
them.
love it.
It's so good.
It makes sense. That's the closest that they've been to winning a race in a while. So you gotta let them have it. But maybe that's the real story here. For Latin America, Formula One isn't just a sport. It's an identity.
Yeah.
It's Senna making Brazil believe again. Checo carrying Mexico on his shoulders. Fangio and Franco reminding us that Argentina still has a place on the world stage. We've had Nelson Piquet Sr. and his son carrying that Brazilian legacy forward into a new generation.
Yep.
It's Rubens Barrichello's endurance, more than 300 Grand Prix worth of loyalty, Felipe Massa's heart, and sheer love for racing.
It's also Juan Pablo Montoya for Colombia, Pastor Maldonado for Venezuela. It's Gabriel Bortoleto from Brazil just waiting in the wings, the next bright hope who's already turning heads in the paddock and showing that Latin flame isn't going anywhere. Latin America has about 7 world driving champions and over 30 race winners. So, yes, those sponsors and the love for that sport is going nowhere. That is a wrap for us on the Mexican GP. Kevin, any more bold predictions remaining for the rest of the 2025 season? If you say Max WDC, I'm going to put you and...
Okay. You said you wanted boldest predictions. You didn't ask me to tell you what I thought was going to happen, right? But anyway, like I was saying, as much as I would love to see Max at the WDC,
yes,
I don't think that's going to happen. Like,
how dare you?
It's the thing is like, imagine if it comes down to like, imagine as a part of your job, you've got to walk into the office every day and you've got to throw a golf ball into a hole that is exactly golf ball sized every single day.
Yeah.
And doing that is what is going to get you your salary.
Oh, God.
Okay? You can do it for a day and live on that high. You can do it for maybe 2 days, live on that high. Buddy, how can you do it for one full month? It's impossible. That's what you're expecting this guy to do.
Correct.
And to add extra masala onto this is that while you're doing this at work, your co-workers who have been doing it regularly are going to keep blowing at it so that it flies away. Right? And you are now under the impression that suddenly the throat is not going to, they're going to have a sore throat, so they're not going to. 1-2 days, okay, alright, you can take them out of the equation. But if it's a fight for a position,
yes,
obviously, you can't keep doing it. I understand that Max is superhuman, but even superhumans have bad days, and his just could be a Sunday.
But
he is one Sunday away from.
That's true.
This not being a conversation anymore. It wasn't a conversation a few months ago, right? Why is it a conversation right now? I feel like my boldest prediction for the rest of the 2025 season is that I feel like we might see a driver change happen. I don't know why I have this gut feeling, but if it does happen, when we put out those Instagram, we've got to make this a reel.
Yes.
That I'm sitting here and I'm doing this prediction. And then it's just cut, and then after that you can put these conspiracy theory triangles and all that stuff, and
Yes.
Oh my God! It'll be he predicted it, and then you show the dates and you show newspapers and all that.
Okay, we're deep in tinfoil territory right now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. If you want to try a different tone, I think we can do it from our favorite meme: the elimination of the nation.
Oh my God. What the hell is that?
Right? We're not doing those memes. If you guys don't know what those memes are, send us a DM. I've got some stuff that I want to share with you guys. But one condition, you can't be a Mercedes fan. Or you can be a Mercedes. Okay, we'll need to have a conversation first before I share those memes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's obviously going to be a process where we vet you guys before we send our stuff to you.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to end up on a watch list more than we are right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I love how you threw me under the bus. Pretty sure you are under a watch. What about you? I sent these memes to you. Right?
That's true. Oh, no.
I love how you're isolating me. But given, I feel like we got on a watch list the minute we started speaking slander about MBS.
Yes, correct. That is true.
And that was one of our very first episodes.
That's literally the first episode where we were
this podcast was built. Yeah, the podcast was built on a foundation of MBS slander. Why do you think we haven't been invited anywhere for anything?
Correct.
Yeah, and mysteriously, if we randomly get one invitation for the Saudi Grand Prix, buddy, I am not going.
No way.
There
is no
because
way.
We're not making it back.
Wild Arabian horses could not drag me to Saudi Arabia if I got a free invite.
Jesus. I'm not going. They'll be we'll pay you. I'll be I will pay you not to come. Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Oh my God. I feel like
what about
this conversation is going everywhere.
Everywhere and nowhere at the same time. But in that case, what's your boldest prediction for the rest of the 2025 season?
For the rest of the 2025 season, I want my boldest prediction now, even though I know it cannot possibly happen, I would really like MBS to be replaced. I'm still on this slander. I will die on this hill. But that man
wow.
needs to go.
I mean, the thing is, like, the amount of money, like how we justify the amount of money that
Yes.
Perez is bringing in
Yes.
was a sort of qualifier for him to at least have a place at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Is exactly, I mean, I feel like we've got to give MBS that
Fine.
same,
Yes.
this thing. I mean, I understand, yes, it is a bold prediction, wishful thinking and all that stuff, but I think the only way that would happen is one of these races he's going to say something like your classic stereotypical uncle behavior. And one of these younger generation F1 drivers are really going to like send him to the skibidi toilet. Like, I am telling you, like, they're going to Ohio his Riz. I don't.
Now you're just saying
like,
words. 6, 7.
Okay, Phantom Tax.
Phantom Tax. Dude, those are old stuff. You need to catch up to.
Oh wow. Okay, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT help us.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, okay. That's from an administrative point of view.
Yeah.
What's your racing point of view prediction?
I don't racing point of view. I think I'm just gonna stick to my guns and say Oscar Piastri World Driving Championship. I think if I say
he absolutely deserves it.
if
man.
I say it
He
enough
deserves
times, I will manifest this for Oscar.
I,
That's my plan.
I
now.
love Max. I love Max.
Yeah.
But Oscar Piastri for
Yes.
World Driver Championship, like, he deserves it. Like, and he deserves it because of the work that he's put in, because of the way that he's been treated, because of like every single thing. He has every reason to win. He deserves to win.
Correct.
And I feel like I want to put it in such a position where we end up with Oscar in P1
Yeah.
for the World Driver Championship, and I want Max in P2. Does that seem fair?
Ooh,
So knock Lando off.
Yeah. You know,
Right?
in the beginning
Oh,
of the year
God.
when like I decided to put down my like the drivers championship order, that is
Yeah.
my order. It's Oscar and then
Oh,
Max
is it really?
and then Lando.
Oh,
So I'm very excited to see this happen. I want Oscar to win and I want him to say not bad for a number 2 driver. That's exactly.
Amen.
And if you're wondering what that is, DM me. I'll tell you the inside inside joke on
scoop.
that. Yes, exactly. We do have a break next week, but we will be back with one more very, very exciting race in Brazil because it's Interlagos and it's usually chaotic and awesome. To our amazing listeners, what do you think? Drop your hot takes in the comments, send us a message or tag us in your wildest predictions. And don't forget to follow, subscribe and share F101 with friends because this community is just getting started. If you have any queries or you want to be a friend on the pod, please reach out to us on Instagram. The link is in the description. Special shout out to Ashwati, who really needs to see Ferrari win, who also supports this podcast and my mental health. Thank you, Kevin, for coming back. I've been your host, Nisha, and we will see you on the next episode of F101 with Friends.